Hello, my melodies. Welcome back. We are at part 3 on the journey to learn the Pokemon trading card game. We've done Catch, we've done Basic Battle, and now we're getting into the 30 card demo that is part of the normal Learn to Play series. At least the way that I learned it, the way that I like to teach it at my league. So if you haven't done part 1 and part 2, go to the Learn with Mark playlist. Start out with the Catch, then go on to the Basic Battle, and then you'll be prepared and ready for this video on how to learn to play. Now, let's go ahead and shrink on up so the video is on, or the main video is on the playmat here. If you go to an event, I like doing Gen Con every year as much as I can, and and I like to train people at my league every single week. So if you come out to a league, we will have some of these products. They are slightly older cards. They're not completely playable in the standard, but they are great for a demo. So normally we would sit down and we would start with Catch, do the Basic Battle, and then get to these 30 card demos. Now it's called a 30 card demo because you have a 30 card deck here, and you can choose what your favorite Pokemon is. Now, of course, you can see the Umbreon decks have all been taken. Usually they do get to go first, but we have a Lucario deck and a Greninja deck. And shout out to a Sasquatch. Gonna go ahead and open up the Greninja deck for the demo today. So yeah, we would sit down, we would do the first two, and then we would get into this set. Now this set is a pre-built 30 card deck from the Pokemon Company. Guess it is the other way. No, this way. There we go. There's a little plastic tab there to help us out. After you choose which deck you want to play with, we would open it up, and for the demo purposes, we're going to build the first 7 card hand. So we're going to have Greninja be there. We're going to have those two. We want an energy. We want 2 energies, I believe. And then we also want these 2 trainers. Now, normally you would shuffle the deck. At this point, I like to talk about some shuffling techniques. One of them is, because there are no sleeves on this deck, I like to do a hand pull shuffle. And if you do this a number of times, you can kind of truly randomize what the deck is going to be. Now, during a normal game, not a 30 card demo, you would be shuffling all of your deck, which is normally 60 cards. You would shuffle everything, and then you would draw the first 7 to see if you have a basic Pokemon. But for time purposes and for demo purposes, I always select the first 7 of the opponent's Pokemon, the person I'm training, the people who are learning, so that we can talk through some of those cards. So in theory, I have shuffled my entire deck. I put it to the right, and I draw 7 cards. And now I start looking at those 7 cards, because during Pokemon setup, we need to figure out who's going to go, or what's going to go in my active and what's going to go on my bench. And actually, I missed a step already. How about that? Now, before you even draw or shuffle or any of that, you want to flip a coin or a dice to determine who's going to go first. For the case of this video, I'm going first because I'm not going to actually have an opponent. I'm just going to talk theoretically through some of those different steps. So imagine that we flipped a coin. I chose heads. It landed on heads. I'm going to choose to go first. So there we go. Now, by going first, I'm not going to be able to attack on my first turn. I'm not going to be able to play a supporter card on my next turn, or my first turn. I have to wait till my next turn to be able to do that. Now, what does that mean? What in the world? We haven't seen any trainer cards up until this point in this Learn to series. So, Learn with Mark, let's start talking about trainer cards. Now, trainer cards are described at the very top. They are trainers, but they have different attributes and different details with them. You can see the name of the trainer. It's going to be up here, name of the trainer, of course. So we have a hop and we have a great ball. Now, there are different types of trainers. There are three different types of trainers, and then there's a special type of trainer card. We'll get to that in a second. Right now, we have a supporter. So a supporter card is more powerful. You can see there's extra draw support. You can only play 1 supporter per turn unless you're going first. If you're going first, you can't play a supporter. Items. Items are special. So items are items that you have anything in your backpack while you're going on this Pokemon journey, and you can play as many items in your turn as you want. As long as you have them, you can play them. Of course, once they're played, then they are discarded. But you can play as many items as you want. So think, items are in your backpack. You can play as many as you want. Supporters are, you have to phone a friend, and you can only call one supporter per turn. That's the way I like to think about it. Of course, we have energy cards there. Now, while we're doing Pokemon setup, we have 3 Pokemon in our hand. However, remember in the last video, and we're going to talk about it again here, this video, you can only put a basic Pokemon down onto the bench or play area you can for your turn, right? For your for setup or during your turn, has to be a basic. So I have 2 basics. And I have a stage 1. You can see that there's a stage 1 there. I can't place that stage 1 directly onto the bench. It says it evolves from Carvana. So I need to evolve from a Carvana. We'll get to evolution here in a second. But looks like I have 2 basics. So I'm going to go ahead and decide. And I'm going to say, which do I want into my active first? I'm going to go ahead and decide to have Carvana in my active. So put that down. I will put the other Pokemon down. You don't want to reveal it to your opponent as they're making the same decisions. These are privileged information. Only you know what's in your hand at any given point, unless a card says like reveal hand and show items or something like that. But for the most part, your opponent should not see your hand. So now we're in Pokemon setup phase. Now we get to the fun part of talking about win conditions in a normal game. So I am now set up. We have not started the game yet. We are playing with a 30 card deck, normally 60. So with a 30 card deck, we're going to play with 3 prizes. And what those prizes are is the top 3 cards of your deck. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. And you want your prizes to be on the opposite side of your play area. So you have your deck, you have your discard pile, and you have your prizes on the opposite side, and very visible how many prizes are left. So hopefully that is underneath my camera so that it's still visible to everybody. And now we are done setting up for the game. Now we can start the game. Like I said, I'm going to go first. I'm not going to be able to attack on my first turn, and I'm not going to be able to play a supporter. So we'll go back and forth. We'll pretend that the other player has done their turn, and then we'll come back to me, and I'll talk through some extra items as we go. But we're going to reveal the play space. I have Carvana up front. I have Greninja V. And then how do I start my turn? I draw to start my turn. Absolutely. And looks like I have a Drizzle that I pulled here. Now, opponent's not going to know what I pulled. And I can go through and I can see what do I want to do. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to attach an energy to Carvana, because you can attach 1 energy to 1 Pokemon per turn, unless you have something else. But for right now, I don't have anything special. I am then going to play Great Ball. Most of the cards in the Pokemon trading card game will have all the rules, what you do on the card. So apart from the rules of can I play this card or not, it's an item. I can go ahead and play it, even though it's my first turn. I'm going to do what the Great Ball says. It says, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So what I like to do is each card that I am working or playing, or the action I'm taking, I like to put up in like this little space here. So I'm doing Great Ball. It says, look at the top 7 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go there. Okay, now I get to look at them, and this is information that the opponent can't see, but I'm going to reveal for you for this setup. So here we go. And it says, you may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put it into your hand, shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So I'm going to go through, I see I have 3 Pokemon in these cards. I know I have the Drizzle. I don't have a Sobble yet, knowing the evolution line, but I'm going to go ahead and get the stage 2 Inteleon just in case that I have it. So I'm going to reveal that to the opponent so everyone can see I'm getting the Inteleon, and then that's going to go into my hand. The rest of these are going to go back into the deck and shuffle. And that ends the action of that Great Ball. We'll move Great Ball to the discard pile. And then we will see if there's any other actions I can take for my turn. I don't think that there are. Get a nice little shuffle there, place that back down, and then I will see if I want to do anything else. Now this card I know is a supporter. I'm not going to be able to play, and I'm not going to be able to attack because it's my first turn. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. Now the opponent would go through, do the same levels of steps. Probably he or she or they will play a great ball. Maybe they will also play a supporter because they're going second. They can play a supporter. And if they were able to charge up a Pokemon and get it to a point where they were able to do an attack, they would then attack. So let's say I'm going to be taking 10 damage back. So I've been damaged 10. That ends my opponent's turn. I am then going to draw for my turn. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach an energy here to Greninja. And then I'm going to talk about a couple other things. Now, Carvanha has been in play for one full turn, meaning it entered into play either on the active or bench my last turn. That means it is ready to evolve. And I do have a card here that says that I can evolve from a Carvanha. You can always see it'll say evolves from Carvanha. There'll be a little fun little picture. This is stage 1, so it can't immediately go to stage 2. Plus it wouldn't say Carvanha if it was going to stage 2. But this is an evolution Pokemon. So during this turn, I can go ahead and say I would like to evolve into Sharpedo. All the cards that are attached, all the status conditions, all of the special conditions that might be attached, and all the damage counters stay on this Pokemon. So this means I already have enough energy to be able to do this attack. I'm also, preparing for the next step, so that's why I'm attaching energy back here. That's how evolution Pokemon work. Let's go ahead and I have a hop. I can play a supporter, only one supporter per turn, but I can play it this turn. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. That will be the end of that action. I get to then look at these and see what's going on. I have a couple more supporters that I might be able to play in the future, but I can't do that right now. And then I have an Evolution Incense. That is an item. That's an item in my backpack. So let's go ahead and play Evolution Incense. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This means I get to actually look at the entire contents of my deck. Now, opponent can't see it. This is your privileged information. I can see that there are plenty of cards that I need that are on the bottom there. I'm going to go ahead, and this is an evolution Pokemon. So it's not a basic. It's an evolution Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I'm going to reveal. I'm going to grab Sharpedo. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into my hand, as that's what it says, and then shuffle your deck afterwards. Alrighty, now we're going to accelerate the game a little bit after I talk about one more thing, and we'll go back and forth. Now, let's assume that we've gone back and forth a couple different times. This guy's going to be at 20. I've done damage enough to a couple of their Pokemon. Let's say I get to knock out one of their Pokemon because I get to do 50 and 20. So I'm going to knock out one of their normal Pokemon. And for each Pokemon I knock out, I get a prize card. So I've knocked out a Pokemon. I'm getting a prize card. Their turn comes into play. They knock out my Sharpedo. They get a prize card, and now we're both down to 2 prizes left to win the game. I'm going to move my Greninja V up. I'm going to draw to start my turn. I will attach, and then I will want to point out a special thing about the Greninja. You can see the Greninja has better artwork. Has a black border instead of the yellow border, has more powerful Pokemon, has more hit points. It is a stronger card overall. But what I want to point out is that there are some Pokemon cards that have a rule box. This one has a V rule. And now in the bottom of that V rule, let's see if I can get it into focus at all, maybe a little bit. It says, when your Pokemon V is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards. So when this Pokemon gets knocked out, you would end up taking 2 prize cards. So if they had a V and I knocked it out just now, I could win the game. So yes, it's more powerful, it has more hit points, has stronger attacks, but it's also a higher risk. So in this 30 card demo, we would go back and forth until somebody takes all of their prize cards, talking through any questions that would arise, playing any supporters as they arise, and yeah, just talking through a lot of different stuff. I will say, let's go ahead and bring out Sharpedo again. We also want to talk a little bit about retreat cost, weakness, resistance, and retreat cost. So at the very bottom, there's going to be some extra stats on every Pokemon card. You can see it's down here as well with Greninja, and then you can see it here for the Sharpedo. The weakness is going to be a type. So Sharpedo is weak to electric or lightning type, and it says ×2. So if I'm going to take 20 damage, but the Pokemon doing that damage is is lightning, so 20 times 2 is 40. I would actually be taking 40 damage. Now, same thing with resistance. Usually it's a energy type -30. So you'd be taking 30 less damage from those types of Pokemon. And then retreat. If I was up here, let's go ahead. And I said I wanted to move into my Greninja, and I had an energy attached. So Sharpedo's up front. I want to move it to the bench. I would have to pay the retreat cost. So this is 1 retreat cost. You can see down here, it's 1 colorless. So I'm going to pay that by discarding it, move Sharpedo to the bench, and then move Greninja V up to the front. Now, sometimes I want to do that because it's low on hit points. I want to protect it, or I need to do something else, or I'm ready to attack with a bigger Pokemon, and I want that Pokemon to be ready and going for it, right? Trying to knock out the other Pokemon. Those are all the basics. A lot of it is just practice, learning experience, learning somehow some of the cards do, what the cards do, how they interact with each other, all of that good stuff. But that is the basic 30 card deck. You can play any of these. You can play a full 60 card deck if you wish as your first thing. So you just grab 60 cards, maybe one of those pre-built decks that you want out there, like the Charizard deck or something else. You play one of those, you shuffle all 60 cards, you draw 7, put your basics out, grab your prize cards, and then you continue on and you play a game. Try it out. The mechanics are also, like a lot of these steps are done for you in the Pokemon Trading Card Live game on computer or one of your mobile devices. So you can learn through some of the mechanics, learn through some of the steps there. It's a great tool to get used to it, but I like playing in person. So if you come out to League and you want a training, learn to play from me, feel free to grab me. More than happy to train new players because I enjoy this game. I enjoy seeing people have those light bulb moments of some fun stuff along the way. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to go ahead and put this 30 card deck back into the box for a future demo. And yeah, hopefully you know how to play the game now, and you can kind of go get started. If you want to watch these and then play at home, refer back to these videos for any details. If you have questions, if I missed something, put a comment down below and I'll definitely answer it. I'll try and help you out. All the rules, all of the explanations, all these details are on the Pokemon.com website. So nothing new is kind of shared here, nothing unique here, but yeah, I like to speak it and teach it a little bit a different way. So hopefully this is helpful. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for helping out this channel. Really do appreciate it. Remember to keep singing the song in your heart. And in the end, a little music goes a long way.